So guys, I'm finally gonna get around to wrapping the chrome trim around here, around the windows. It's taken me forever to get to it, but I really want to get it done. It's the one thing that bugs me, having everything else blacked out. So I'm gonna do it today. So what I'm gonna use for this, I got my razor blade because I will probably have to trim a little bit extra. I got my heat gun and I got this nice squeegee again, which will help to tuck it in the seals. I shouldn't have to trim too much, but I tried this before and kind of messed it up. So I'm gonna try to take my time. I'm gonna speed this video up quite a bit because it'll be a very long video and really boring. So I'll let you know when I'm done, some areas to watch out for if you guys do it, any concerns I have and the hardest areas. But I can tell you already before I start, the hardest area is this. Just because the way it is. These are pretty basic because you line the bottom up, and then when you open the door, there's a lot of play inside here. So you just tuck it under here. And you can trim the edge if you want or tuck it on the side. And then this gets a little tricky because of this area down here. But other than that, it's not too bad. It's this area that's always a little tough. So, okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with this. So guys, here's what I did was I just cut around the overlays just to make it a little easier so you don't have all this extra paper. You don't have to get too critical here, but it does make it easier. And now just take a rag and I did a wipe down. I already cleaned them, so this is just to make sure there's no dust or anything on them. Fairly straight, simple forward with that. Then with this, I align the back edge. That's the most important part on this back part, is getting this back lined pretty good because it's going to matter as far as how the rest of it fits. So I go a little bit to the back and then I align the front. And as I'm going, I'm just using my nail to push it in. As you can see, I barely have it hanging below the little sill, and then the rest you can just tuck in. You don't want to go too much, just a tad. So then you can use your squeegee and tuck it in. If you allow too much to stick out here, it won't really tuck that easy. You'll have to probably cut it off. So just a little bit, barely go past where that rubber trim is. And then the top will be a lot easier to do. But that's basically how you want it to look. And if you have to take it back off, take it back off. Just get that bottom so it's a little bit extra the whole way down. It'll make it so much easier. And so now I'm just flattening it out, the flat part, which is really straightforward. And since the bottom was good, then you're just straightening it out. So as you can see there, looks good. The top is where it should be. You just want to get the overall like overlay on the pillar, on the piece, and then you just take your squeegee. I'm taking this, now I'm just going to start tucking. So here you can go lift the bottom up just a tad and it'll tuck very easy. And same thing, just follow the sill and just tuck it all the way up. As you can see, here is what I'm doing. I'm just tucking it. And this is where that rubber squeegee comes in handy because you don't need something really firm. You want it a little flexible, and then just tuck it into the sill. And again, take your time. Like, you don't have to go fast on this. Just take your time doing it. If you, like I did right there, just pull it back off and realign it to make it easier. That's the biggest thing, is making it so that bottom edge, you can tuck it in the sill. And I'll show you where we're at here. You can see it's tucked really nicely in there in the bottom. Once you got that tucked, the rest is a whole lot easier. It's that bottom edge that you have to worry about. So here I'm just working with the little tools I have just to tuck it. And then here's what you got. Looks really good. And then you have the little extra at the top here. You can either trim it or just tuck it all. I trim it a little bit and then I tuck the rest. So there's the piece, that's all done. And if you see something needs it, you can go back, use your squeegee. It's not that difficult. Now I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of heat. Nothing crazy here. This is a pretty powerful heat gun, so just a little bit, just to help set it. And then I'm just working it too. If I see any like bubbles or it's not tucked in right, the heat will help it move a little easier. Don't get crazy with the heat though, because it will almost liquefy the vinyl and it'll ruin it. So there's that piece is done. Looks really good. Flows really nice. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Just take your time. This is the biggest thing I could say. Don't rush through it. Sometimes it's overwhelming at first, but it's not that bad. Once you get that bottom edge where you want it, the rest is easy. Just lay it down, and then once you have it all on there, then you're just gonna take your time and use the squeegee or whatever tool you guys have to tuck it. So this is a lot easier because it's flat. So I gave it a wipe down. Same process. You're gonna start at the back. I'm gonna line the back, and I'm gonna hang it over just a little bit. You can do it however you like, but I hang it over just a little bit so I could fold that over too. And I find it easier here. You can open the door. It makes it so much easier to tuck it over the top. So here I'll line the back here. And like I said, this is probably the easiest one, the rear door, because it's pretty straight. And the same thing, you want to line the bottom just a little bit over the rubber sill, just a little bit. And then use your nail or use a tool and you just tuck it in the rubber sill. You'll notice if you leave too much, you're tucking it and it'll leave like a little gap and it won't really sit in there. So then pull it back off and get it where you want. But then once you have the bottom where you want, you'll notice the top hangs over. Then it's so easy, you just tuck it. There's no reason to cut it. I mean, you can if you want, but the whole point of having overlays is it's minimal cutting. So then you just tuck the edge over the top and then use heat. And that's what you get. It's very clean. I like it. I know a lot of you guys already had it done. I've been dying to do it, so it does definitely set it off. Now this piece will be a little more difficult. Just wipe it down again. And this one, as you're going and lining the bottom, you probably will have to pull it back because it'll have a tendency to want to go straight more. So you kind of want to keep working with it just so it follows a contour. And you just tuck the bottom. So I just use my nail and I tuck it in the rubber sill as I go. And you'll notice if it's too much, then pull it back off. So here's pretty much what you're looking at. So you got it here tucked in the bottom sill. Nothing perfect here, but you just have it lined up. See, it's barely over. And that way it's easy to tuck. You're not dealing with all this excess material. And now I'm just taking my nail, which works easy. You might take a tool if you need to, but that rubber squeegee I have works really good. You're just working it down in there. And then I'm flattening it out again. That's the easiest part. You flatten it out, work all the air bubbles up. And now you have all the extra on top. You just tuck it into the rubber sill. Very simple. And this piece takes a little bit extra time. You're just gonna work it in behind the mirror. I do trim a little bit here because you don't need all that extra. Just be careful not to trim too much because then you kind of have to start all over again and get a new piece. So I just trim it a little bit, and if it's not enough, trim a little bit more, and then you just tuck it. And there is a void in there, so you can heat it up to make it softer and just tuck the rest of it in there. It's pretty straightforward. So guys, here it's all finished. Looks really good. It was the missing piece, I think, on my car. I like how it flows with all the black wheels. Looks more aggressive. I never was a fan of that chrome. And mine was already getting some water spots on it too that I really couldn't remove all the way. And my car is garaged a lot of the time, so it helps with that too. So this is the hardest area. Just work it. And what you can do on this thing, you can pull this back here a little bit, not too much, but you can pull it and get it behind the rubber seal. So much easier, because if not, it's hard to get it under the seal. So you just pull it back and then use that squeegee and then force it behind that seal for a clean look. But overall, it's not that difficult. I was kind of overwhelmed by it at first, just because it's these skinny pieces of vinyl and it's hard to stick. But then once you get going with it, it's really straightforward. Once you get the biggest thing I can tell you is set that bottom edge, and then you just push it down, and it's fine. Looks really good. I think it does set the car off. And here's this side that I did. Again, the hardest part is probably the very back and then where it meets the mirror. But nothing, you have the right tools, it's fine. Just looks really good, I think, guys. And there is one part I messed up on over here, and it's my fault. I might get another piece and redo it, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not huge to me, but I'll show you. It's on this back piece, and it shows the importance of getting that bottom edge and then working all the air out of it before you use heat and set it. See, I didn't do that on this back part. I used heat and I set the top and squeegeed it down, but I left air trapped in it. And so what it'll do, I'll show you this little part right here. There was air trapped in and I already heated it up, so I tried to move it and the air had nowhere to go. So then I use heat and it kind of makes the vinyl look different, as you can tell. It like stretches it out too much. So it doesn't really bug me. I mean, I might redo this piece, but I can't. It's not a huge deal, but when you look at it, it's hard to see unless I know it's there and you look real close to it. But overall, it's really good. And again, that was my fault in doing it. So now I know how you don't set the top and you squeegee up, and make sure that's how you want it before you use your heat gun or blow dryer. Because once it's set, if you have air trap like that, that's how it's going to be. So again, not a huge deal to me, but I could always redo it. It takes me probably 10 minutes to redo that piece. But I love it. I love how it looks. Most of you guys already have this done. I see why, because it does set it off and it completes it. There's one more thing I'm going to do that I'm going to block out. Should have a video coming maybe in a week or so. They'll really set it off. But I love how it looks. If you guys haven't done this, I would highly recommend it. It's something not too expensive and it looks good. Looks really sporty, and get the right tools. Like this little tool, you can get one like this, or even a credit card will work. And then this rubber squeegee, I'd definitely pick one up. It made the job so easy to get in the little groove, and it's flexible enough where it doesn't pull the vinyl all out. It just sets it in there real nice. You just put it in the corner here, so I need to press some more here, and you just work it all down and it presses it as you pull it. Hope everyone's doing good. Thanks everybody.